Ahoy hoy folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Sean, aka Uncle Frogface, and welcome to today's video. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, then welcome back. Today we are continuing our Inktober. So we've done our first week and I'm doing post-it note sketches all through Inktober this year. So we've done our first week, then one of those was picked out to do a more refined piece, and we've done another week of post-it note sketches, so we're going to go through those in a minute, and one of these has already been selected by my Instagram friends. So we'll be getting stuck into that today and making a bit more of a nicer drawing. So I'm going to turn the camera around and let's go through all of my post-it notes. Hello. So we are starting off. So our next post-it note in the group is number 10, day 10. The prompt was pick. So here we have the pick of destiny. So all of these are being done on just plain old post-it notes with a 4-colour Bic biro and occasionally a Uniball Signo white pen. But yeah, so this one just kind of, it was the first thing that came to mind, so that's what I did. The next one, our prompt was, so for day 11, sour. So I wanted to use the colour of the post-its here, and I did these lemons. I actually quite enjoyed this one. This was a nice one. Next we had stuck, day 12, and for that we have Winnie the Pooh, stuck in Rabbit's house. Then we had roof. So for roof, this was actually the day of the fire at my work, which is why my voice is a little rough. So this was done the day after. This was done on day 14. But here is day 13's roof, little roof of a mushroom house. Day 14 was tick. So we have the tick, the cartoon character, the tick. Then day 15 we had helmet, and I wanted to do something a little bit comic booky. So we have Magneto's helmet from X-Men. And then finally, this was a very rushed one, but day 16, compass. So we have this moral compass, good, bad, and moral grey areas. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to guess which one my Instagram community picked. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh. So I'm going to take all of these and pop them to the side. And what I've done today is gone ahead and done a little sketch already. So this is on some Daler Rowney mixed media paper, and it's just a quick little pencil sketch. You can see the inspiration there. And I am going to get my dip pens out because I think the dip pens fit the style of the illustrations from the book best. I'm going to go through and ink this piece. So let's start by going over the materials I'm using. As I said, this is the Daler Rowney mixed media paper, which is supposed to be able to take lots of wet and dry media. It's the first time I'm trying it out, so I'll be interested to see how this goes. I've got 2 dip pens today, so I've got a very fancy pear wood, I think, or peach wood turned nib holder, which is the one that I'm using now, and the nib in there is a G pen nib, and honestly, as long as the holder is comfortable, then it doesn't really matter what it's made out of. This just happens to be a gift that was given to me some years ago that I really love. And the G pen nib gives a really nice variation of strokes. You can get some really thick lines and some really thin lines as well. So I'm going to do most of this in the G pen nib, and then the other one that we have there is in a Deleter pen holder, the yellow one that you can just hit the side there. And that one, I think, for that and a set of nibs was like £3 or £4 on Amazon. It was really cheap, and honestly, I love it. The little holder for the pen nibs is rubber and takes both the large and the small types of nibs. So I always have my crow quill in there because I just find it sits in there really nicely. It's really easy to take out and clean as well. And then the ink that I'm using is the Kuretake Mangaka Zig comic book ink, which you've seen before The nice thing about this is that the lid actually, when you turn it upside down, actually acts as a pen holder. Not that I ever use that, but you can see it's got those two little notches in it, and that's for you to rest your pen in. So, other things to note here is I have an extra post-it on the side. Whenever I'm using dip pens, I always have an extra bit of paper on the side, and that's just, it's like a piece of scratch paper. It's just to take off any excess ink from your pen so you don't get great big splotches. And you can already see I've rested my hand on one of those rocks at the bottom and given a bit of a splotch, but that happens. It's kind of a hazard of using these materials. I haven't used my dip pens for quite a while, and I don't know why, because I really love them. They just feel like an extension of the arm and the hand. They're just really comfortable to use, and you can get some really expressive lines in there. So as I said, this was picked by some people on Instagram. In fact, I had about a dozen messages from people, unprovoked, saying please do the Winnie the Pooh. So there we go. This is for all you guys. So I've actually got quite a few Winnie the Pooh fans in the family. I know both my mum and my mother-in-law are big Winnie the Pooh fans, so they may be getting this sketch at some point, one of them, or maybe we can Thunderdome it out and they can wrestle and decide who's who's gonna get the drawing. Sorry, knowing both my mum and my mother-in-law, that's I know that's never gonna happen, but it's fun to think about. This was just a fun little drawing. I had reference up when I was doing this as well, because it's a very particular style. I have a friend, Scribbletoons on Instagram, who definitely go and check him out. He has a very similar style to this. He's got very stylised characters. I've actually done some colouring work for him before, where he's given me ink pieces and I've coloured them in digitally and done kind of watercolour over the top, which is a style that I really like. But this kind of put that in mind for me, and I just had fun. I just kind of let loose and go for it, and I think that's really what you need to do, isn't it? If you're making a piece of art, if you're not having fun, why the hell are you doing it? You know, enjoy what you're doing. So I'm gonna go on to my crow quill here, and it's called crow quill because it's a very fine quill, and you get a very standard line. It's the equivalent of a fine liner, I feel. But I'm doing all these kind of dirt textures and some other textures around, and a little bit of cross-hatching. But, I mean, we're almost at the end of this. This has been a very quick drawing. The pencil drawing that I did underneath took only 5 minutes, and I just did that with, let's have a look, is a pencil, 0.5mm mechanical pencil. I've got like 4 or 5 of these, so I've always got one on hand. One of my favourite pencils as well. So yeah, with final little details, and that's it. We are done. Well, a little bit of hatching, and then we're done. We're coming up to a bonus tip for you guys. So if you use ink bottles and you've had it open for a session, please clean the rim of the ink bottle and the top of the lid. This will stop the lid sticking to the bottle and make it easier to open in future. So that's 2 weeks of Inktober down, a whole stack of post-it notes, a lot more to come, I'm sure. And I've let the ink dry and gone over it with a kneadable eraser, and this is our finished piece. So there we go, try and get the light not to catch it. I'll leave some better pictures of it at the end as well. But I think what I might do is take this into Procreate and colour it that way, because I really like this as an ink sketch, and actually the dip pens work really nicely on this paper. So I think I'm going to try out a few other things with this paper, because I was really surprised. That will go up on my board, I think, with some of the other pieces. If you want to see the coloured version, don't forget to check out my Instagram. The links are down below. And if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Tongue-tied. As always, I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. And until next time, goodbye.